As promised, we're going into 9 essential tools that you need to make your relationship last or a future relationship last. Number 1, this is so important, trust. We have to be able to trust the person that we're with. And now you may be thinking, well, that's obvious. I have to trust them. But I think you and many other women will be very surprised to know how many women actually stay in a relationship where there is no trust, right? So there are 2 major ways that trust needs to be implemented in a relationship. Number 1, if someone from your past has ruined your ability to trust people, then a new person comes into your life. If you do not deal with the trust issues that you've had from the past, or the other person doesn't deal with the trust issues they had from the past, you're most likely going to bring those trust issues into the relationship. Number 1, implementing trust means that you need to be in a place where you are ready to be in a new relationship. And if you're not ready, you can actually end up ruining a potentially good relationship by bringing in trust issues from the past. Number 1, deal with the trust issues from the past. Then go into a relationship, and then you'll be able to have a healthier one. Secondly, if you're with the person who has broken your trust, there's going to need time and there's going to need effort put in. If the trust has been broken in your current relationship, but you still want to try to work it out, my recommendation is to write up a list together. List of the things that you are going to change. If you can't trust that person because they betrayed you somehow, they did something that was against your relationship or that wasn't right, then they need to write down or on a piece of paper, I will not do whatever it is that you're telling the person you're never going to do again, right? Because it's not enough to just say sorry. Some people, they say sorry, but then they end up doing the same thing again, right? They actually have to make a contract. It sounds so strict, but it is strict, because if you don't really get a handle on trust in your relationship, there's really not going to be one very soon, because trust is essential to building love and respect and honor for each other, and to be able to just grow in love and not be so worried about, oh, what's this person doing? Where is this person going? You have a lot to do in life. You can't be always worried about what the other person is doing, because you have a life to live, and you can't live it if you're always worried about what the other person is doing, or if you're always thinking or assuming that they're up to something. So number 2, say nice things. This seems like something that should obviously, but some people, you'd be surprised, but calling each other out of, their names and saying these things that are just not uplifting, not encouraging, right? So if you're in a relationship and you're calling each other out of your names, or if you're saying things against each other that aren't uplifting and encouraging, it's very likely that relationship is not going to last long. And the reason is because that everyone goes through things throughout their day, right? We go to our jobs, we deal with different things like COVID, and maybe our car breaks down, or maybe our finances aren't where we want them to be, or we go through all these things in life. So the last thing someone wants to do is be around someone who's constantly criticizing them, or saying mean things, or saying smart things, or saying things. If that's your relationship and you guys play like that and you both agree like that's how you guys are, sure. But I feel like for most people, they want to be around people who are going to uplift them, make them happy, make them feel good about themselves and about their lives. So saying nice things in a relationship is essential to building that strong bond and connection that could last a lifetime. And it says in Proverbs 12:25 that anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up, meaning that just by saying something nice, you can take away the anxiety and pressure of the world that your partner may feel, and make them feel happy again. And we all need that, especially in today's world where there's a lot of things going on that could cause people to be easily stressed out and easily pressured. We could be the uplifting and encouraging voice in their mind. Why would they ever want to let you go? Why would they ever not want the relationship to work if you are the person who speaks life and joy and peace into their lives? Number 3 is respect. Very simply, we need to watch what we say and the way we say it. Sometimes we don't even realize that we're saying things that aren't respectful just because of the way we say it, right? Like if we say like, oh, well, why don't you just do it? We're thinking that saying that is not, saying, why don't you just do it, isn't necessarily something disrespectful, but the way you say it, why don't you just do it? That's disrespectful. So just watching the tone of our voice and what we say. And yet, see, like all of this seems like a lot of work. And this is why most relationships don't work, because people don't want to put in the effort in the little tiny details and these things that actually make a huge difference in a relationship. Because once you say something that is very disrespectful, you can't take it back. Forgiving person who's like really madly in love, they may forgive and move on and forget. But if you're just starting a relationship and you say something that's very disrespectful, or if the relationship is kind of new, maybe even like a year in, and you say something really disrespectful, that even though the person may say they forgive you, there's always going to be some kind of tension there caused by, wow, like, I'm always remembering that thing you said to me that was very disrespectful. And then the relationship may not be able to withstand that circumstance if the cut of the words was very deep. So as an occupational therapist, I work with a lot of elderly people, and there's some elderly people, they come in with, they've been married for over 50 years. And so I love speaking to these couples. Why? Because they begin to speak about their spouse with the utmost respect. They begin to say how wonderful and amazing and everything they did was amazing. And they're so in awe of their partner. They speak so highly of them. None of them ever say, oh, well, she was kind of a grouch, or she was kind of a crazy person. They never ever say those kinds of things. They're, or he was a jerk. I've never heard a couple married over 50 years talk like that. Most of them are saying things like, oh, my spouse was wonderful. They did this, they did that. They just were amazing. They always speak so highly of them. It makes your relationship so strong, because you know that even if you're not around, that person or you are, you speak highly of them even when they're not around. And so it just builds a very strong trust and bond between two people. What happens if the person you're with or someone you know is not speaking respectfully of their spouse or significant other or their partner? What does that mean? That means that really, is that love? Is that true love? If they're not speaking with respect and love about the person they say they're with or they love, that's really not love. That, in my mind, that's, you're tolerating them, right? Because if all you have to say is negative things about them, or if all they have to say is negative things about you, I'm sorry to say, they may just be tolerating you. Then you need to decide if that's someone you really want to stay with. Number 4, honesty, right? This is so important, that you know in your heart that the person you're with is being honest. Because if you feel at any moment that the person you're with is not being honest with you, it's going to be difficult to live like that, because you're always going to want to look through their phone. You're always going to want to look through their social media. You're always going to want to waste your valuable time trying to seek out these things because you feel like they're a dishonest person. Let me just save you some time and say, don't stay with someone you feel is dishonest, because it's a waste of your valuable time to try to figure out what they're doing and how they're doing, or to feel like they're not dishonest, so then you feel like you need to be dishonest, just so bringing you out of your character. So avoid all of that by not being with someone that you feel you cannot rely on to be honest with you and to tell you the truth. Love is not snooping. Love is not to figure out where someone is and what they're doing every second of the day. The Bible says it like this: love always protects, love always trusts, love always hopes, and love always perseveres. So what does that mean? That if you're not always trusting the person, right, then that's not true love. That's not what love really, really is. So then you have to ask yourself, if I'm not really trusting this person, do I really love them? Because if I loved them, I would trust them. So you have to ask yourself, do I really love this person if I can't even trust them? or if I don't even feel like they're being honest with me? And do they really love me if they aren't being honest with me? These are the questions that we need to ask. Number 5, don't stop having fun. Now, you may be thinking, sometimes we're not into the same thing. He's over there on his computer or on his phone, and I'm over here on my phone or listening to music, and we just don't seem to be into the same things. Well, you gotta find something fun to do. I would highly recommend, sometimes we have to make sacrifices. And let me give you an example. My husband doesn't care for romantic movies, but maybe we weren't spending that much time together. So I said, let's watch Marry Me by J-Lo, which is a movie that he isn't into, but he wanted to spend time with me. We wanted to have fun together. And so he sacrificed and he watched it with me. Try to come up with something you two can do together, especially after being married for 5 years. Sometimes things can feel like they're getting mundane, and that is the time to really take action and say, look, let's just go do something fun. Bowling, skating, hiking. Just go do it. And we have about 4 more amazing tips to go. But this video I think is going on way too long, and so I'm gonna make it in a part 2. So I'm just gonna, go over the first 5. Don't stop having fun. Trust is essential. Say nice things. Be supportive. Everybody needs encouragement, especially the person that you're with. Respect yourself and your partner. Watch what you say and take some time to cool off so that you don't say anything that you can't take back. And if someone's disrespectful towards you, figure out if that's really someone that you need to be with. Long term, honesty. Try to be honest in your relationship and try to be with someone who you know is going to be honest with you. I'll see you in part 2. Thanks for watching.